pretend to be not jet lagged today. I just flew in last night, so I'm going to be nice and bright and bubbly for you. So, talking to you today about a joint effort between San Diego Studio and United Front Games, of course, back home. This is the next installment of Sackboy's adventures in Craft World. This is now LittleBigPlanet Karting. So once again, Sackboy is going on a crazy adventure through wild and wacky places, some beautiful environments. He's meeting some new creators, our creative curators, characters who are going to give him a whole host of fun new adventures, because we have a new threat looming over Craft World once again. Its inhabitants are never safe from attack, and Sackboy is going to help them on this new adventure. This time round, he is now karting. He's racing through the world in completely customizable karts, having a whole lot of fun. Now the great thing about this type of gameplay is that this is classic, addictive, fun karting that we already all know and love. It's very, very easy to pick up a controller and play, have a lot of fun with it, and we all know how to do it. So recently we had our public beta. We've also had a whole lot of multiplayer demos at E3 PAX and here in Germany at Gamescom. And one of the biggest things that's come out of it is that fans of LittleBigPlanet Karting, they love the competition aspect. It's all about multiplayer, it's all about racing and having a whole lot of fun. Racing, battles, everything you can imagine. So of course, we support that. We have split screen for up to 4 local players on the same console. We also have split screen for 2 players who can go online and play through the story mode cooperatively together, and also play versus tracks against people from all around the world. And we support up to 8 players cross-region in our online versus tracks. You can find these players through your friends list, through joining and inviting people, and also through visiting the planets in the world and seeing the levels out there and how many people are playing them, and just jumping in and joining them. Now that was one big bit of feedback that we got from our public beta, is that people just want to dive in and they just want to be playing. It's a karting game, you just want to jump in and do it. So we added this new button to our main menu, the quick play button. Now it's not rocket science, but it's something that we found has made things a lot easier for our players. They can jump in, the server will match them with the best possible game that's about to start with the most amount of people, so you can just get in and get racing as quick as possible. Another feature that we've added is our level voting feature. So you've just jumped in, you're playing with a bunch of people, you had an awesomely fun race, and you want to keep going, you don't want it to end. So we've offered this voting feature where we have a few different levels from our story campaign, also some of the community levels that we've picked, and everyone has a say, so you can vote on where you go next as a group. So doing this, combining these 2 features, the quick play, quick jump in, and the level voting, it provides this absolutely endless loop of competition and multiplayer. So you can just keep on going, keep playing. And what this does is it creates an endless loop of discovery of fresh, fun karting adventures. So Sackboy's traditionally been seen in 2.5D, but now that he's in a kart at high speeds going across the full world, we absolutely needed to make it a whole 3D craft world, and that's exactly what we've done. Taking it to the next level, and it's a real natural progression for this series. So we have a whole lot of very familiar things that we've reimagined in 3D. Here's the gardens, we have the mines, the Victoria's Lab, Eve's Asylum, Avalonia. So you can see the B2.0s previously only ever seen in 2D, now they're in full 3D, and you can drive them around a fully 3D Avalonia. We have some new themes too. So this one's Monster Islands. It's kind of based on a Japanese monster movie meets beach party sort of theme. And also the Progress Emporium, which is pretty cool. It's one of my favorites. It's like a mid-20th century vision of the future and how technology would make our lives much easier. A retro future kind of thing. So it's one thing to show you guys these in 2D screenshots, but now I'm going to show you a quick little video. Let's make sure the audio works. Of how they look when you actually see them in 3D. And that's an example of what we've made in the story mode, creating in 3D now. And this is something that we wanted to keep very, very similar to prior LittleBigPlanet games. Of course, everything that we've made in our story mode is made using the same tools that we provide in our level editor. And they're the same tools that you're going to get that you can play with and make your own levels out of. But now that we are creating in 3D, we've had to freshen a few things up a little bit. But we've kept it as familiar as possible. So things like the user interface are exactly the same, the pop-it interface, the terminology, pretty much all of the same logic and gadgets from LittleBigPlanet 2 you'll find in our game. And some of them we've had to just freshen up a little bit. So world building, using brushes and materials to create objects in a 2D space, but you can now manipulate them in 3D worlds. Everything there is within your power to script. The text that's displayed, the camera angles, the characters, how they animate, their psychoids, emotions, music, visual effects, everything. So that's sort of an example of what we at United Front Games have been making. But what are all people out there making using these cool tools? So we did have our public beta recently, and we were absolutely blown away with the amount of stuff that came out of it just in a few short weeks. So I'm going to show you some examples of that. This first race here is a traditional circuit race, and the cool thing about this though is that the creator has made all of the objects that you see around the track, they're all uniquely made that he's put together. The trees, he's using dynamic lighting here. These lights change from orange to blue and really play with the mood of the level. And just coming up around the corner there's this huge, huge face structure that he's completely made all uniquely, that thing in the background there. And he's animated that too, and it's just super cool. This next one is more of it's a Roman Colosseum gladiator gauntlet style run where the goal is to avoid all of these hideously lethalized traps. It's quite deadly. So again, the user has made this entire thing out of custom objects. He set the lethalized behavior on them, and just coming around this corner, death traps, these fiery swords. And again, there's an example here of some of the post effects that you can use. This is a sepia tone. We have other effects. There's black and white. There's a thermal effect if you wanted to make a Predator style level. So lots of fun things to play with there. Again, another traditional circuit track here. But all of these dinosaurs that you see around the sides of the track, completely uniquely made by the creator. And set in motion and doing some cool stuff. Here's a T-Rex that's chewing on some seaweed. The thing I love most about this level is it was created by a 9-year-old girl. She made all of that herself, and it's just such a cool example of how children can express themselves creatively using our LittleBigPlanet Karting-Create mode. This is something a little different. This is a team-based challenge where the goal is to paint the floor by driving over it your team's colours and have most of the floor covered in your colour as opposed to other teams. So using logic, sensors, and dynamic colouring there, we can actually script some team-based co-op play. Must be something to do with frogging. I know you guys had a frogging level before too, but this time around the user has made a frogging adventure, and this is something a bit different. So it's this 3D platforming where the goal is to reach the checkpoints. And of course, we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for traditional 2D side-scrolling, and you can even do that in LittleBigPlanet Karting. Just need to set the camera around to the side, use the control-nator gadget to remove the ability to steer, and you have a 2D side-scroller. And it didn't take the public very long to figure out they could even make a first-person shooter in a karting game. Of course. And again, another helicopter level. Now you guys had a helicopter level too. This is pretty cool. This is someone's made their own helicopter out of their own objects. There's some thrusters on it. They've used the custom kart physics to sort of invert the handling and the control nator gadget. And it really feels like you're driving this helicopter through a cityscape. causing havoc. Now this is completely different. This is an example of a minigame that you can make based on the game memory, where you need to match tiles together to score points. This was made in a karting game. And it's just one of the few examples of the types of things that you can do using the same logic. So, if you were there for week 1 of LBP2's release and you scored the special rare t-shirt, you can wear that in our game. Iron Man, he's pretty famous around here, it looks like. He's back on the track. Slimer from Ghostbusters. He's pretty fun if you use him with the Paintinator weapon, which shoots out green goo on the track, so it actually looks like you're sliming people. You can take Solid Snake into battle. Perform science experiments on Beaker from the Muppets pack. My personal favourite, and you may or may not realise why, Ariel, the Little Mermaid from the Disney Princess pack. That's me sitting in my pot. Of course, one of the newest and greatest costumes is Journey. We were pretty excited about this one back in the studio, so much so that one of our little designers actually decided to see if he could make a Journey level in our game, and he absolutely could. This is a screenshot from our game, and I can't wait for him to finish this level because it's going to be awesome. And this is an example of how it's just simply mind-blowing the things that are going to come out from our community. I'm so excited to see it. So just to recap a few of the things I've mentioned, yes, you can use your I-bought DLC costumes in LittleBigPlanet Karting. We have a full story mode with a whole new adventure, new characters, over 27 main path levels, each unlocking challenges, mini-games, and when you play through the story mode, you also, as you finish each level, you unlock a versus version of that level, which is really, really great for competition because you and your friends, you can see your friends' high scores, you can jump in and keep beating each other and really challenging each other, have a lot of fun. With those power creators we have out there, there are going to be millions of karting adventures. So the fun doesn't have to stop. And when you're playing a karting game, that's kind of what you want. It's always just about one more race, one more battle, one more chance to kick your friend's butt or to redeem yourself, one more race before bed. It's kind of addictive, and that's what the core of this game is. It's a super fun, highly addictive karting adventure, which is all about multiplayer. So on that note, I am going to leave you with one of our latest trailers that shows you just how fun the multiplayer mode